Hello and welcome back to Hookstone Cacti. So in today's video we'll be repotting another cactus for showing, this time a spiky one. So this is Gymnocalcium chacoense. Sorry if the pronunciation is wrong. I'm going to pot this up for showing potential. I personally don't show Gymnocalciums, and I wouldn't show this particular species as it's more of an easy growing species of Gymnocalciums, where there's rarer and more slower and more difficult ones to grow. But if I were to show a Gymnocalcium one, I do think this one is actually one of my more better ones that I have. Again, we're just going to cut some mesh for the whole of the holes at the bottom. I've just got a sheet of the mesh here, so I'm just going to cut like so. Like sometimes the plants do sink into the pot if the soil's leaking out the bottom, so I only really use the mesh for my showing plants because it just means I don't have to repot them or top up the soil each time, because you can't really top up the soil because you've got the top dressing on top, and then that just makes it just a big pile of top dressing. That's why I like using the mesh on the show plants. When it comes to breaking soil, it's easier to do that here. Be careful, you don't want to push too far down, you don't want to damage the spines. So you could also do this with an old towel, or just to give it a bit of support. But I generally, where I can, like sit it in a pot. And you have to be careful about dropping it and stuff and throwing soil all over the plant. That will definitely hinder your judging potential and showing potential. So if you do that, you need to make sure you clean the plant potentially before you repot it, because otherwise you're just flicking the soil onto the top dressing and you should have to pick up any off anyway. Put it back in its pot. The aim here is you just want to try and free up some of the roots and open up the soil so it's a bit less compact. That's where rot can potentially happen. Especially right up the base of the plant. And at some point you're going to spin it around. And into the other half. doing, and when you're happy you've got enough roots free, you can be ready to transfer it into the new pot. So I'm using my general cactus mix. Majority of the roots are. And then we'll get the cactus out of the pot. We do need to do some cleaning of it. Just some things. So what we're doing, we're just brushing direction the spines are. So like down the plant. Let's just get what dirt we can off between the spines. And so just tweezers. Tweezers. Spiky plants, it is important to make sure we have the soil at the correct level. So now I've actually got this plant in my hand, I do feel like I need to be a little bit higher. Yeah, don't be afraid about it's more about the width of the plant rather than the depth when it comes to roots and cacti, really. And it's important to use your tools, in this case little couple of pairs, little scoops, to just sort of centre the plant in the pot. It doesn't matter if some of the spines are sort of hanging out the pot, as long as it's not like severely underpotted, because you will lose marks for that. Well, you're showing ultimately if it's overpotted, you could lose marks as well. I still think I still need more soil in this particular plant. And even though I've got him in this pot, I'm actually going to quickly transfer him to another pot, because after looking at his roots, he can potentially actually go in this pot here, which is shallower, but his roots are also quite shallow, but it's wider. So now filled up pot after assessing the roots of the plant at the right level where I think it would be, and then we're just planting it in place like that, and then we're just going to fill it all the way around the plant and make sure the plant is sitting nicely on top. So it's in the pot now. Now if I want it slightly higher, I just gotta pick it down like so. And we're doing that to make sure the plant is level and centered in the pot. So now I've got the plant in the pot where I want it. So this plant has got lots of pups around it. So when I was more centralising more, I was looking more at the ground, the gaps, making them sort of more even around the edge rather than putting the central of the main head in the centre because of the way the plant is growing. And it's not, and the reason why it's not quite flat as well is the other pups are all at different levels around the base. Make sure that they've all got access to the soil on top. So now all I've got to do now is just put some top dressing on. It's just to go gently around just to cover the soil. Like so. And then you can use your tweezers just to get whatever stones and grit are actually in between the spines. The final thing to do is always pick the front of the plant and the back of the plant. So I would say this is more of the front of the plant here. So the label, as it's a tall label, go at the back. Like so, and there you go, that's how you pot a plant for showing. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hopefully you'll hear my voice in another video in the future.